The 2021-2022 school year marks the 50th anniversary of Title IX. This landmark legislation led to a national movement that now provides opportunities for over 140,000 female student athletes in Illinois. The opportunities for today's athletes were built on the perseverance of those athletes, coaches, administrators, and officials who came before. In this episode of Leaders and Legends, IHSA staff explores one of those experiences. Celebrating the 50th anniversary of Title IX, the IHSA presents Leaders and Legends.
So I'm Tracy Henry here at the IHSA, and we are continuing to talk to our legends when it comes to Title IX. Today we're celebrating competitive cheer and competitive dance by talking with two leaders in both of those sports. Joining me is Shaunda Brown. She's the head clinician for IHSA Competitive Cheerleading. She's also a rule interpreter. She's a consultant for the NFHS and has served as a longtime head official for our state finals. On the dance side of things and also involved with competitive cheerleading is Gina Dryden. She's one of our rule interpreters, clinicians, and she's also served as a head official for competitive dance numerous times. So ladies, let's just get started. Gina, can you tell me a little bit about how you've been connected with IHSA in the past and how you're currently involved with competitive cheer and dance?
It has always interested me to be a part of IHSA. I began coaching cheer when I was in high school. And then as the sport grew competitively, the state had the Illinois Cheerleaders and Coaches Association, which was their only avenue. And it wasn't until the IHSA, and I have always said this, slapped the designer label on the sport of competitive cheerleading that I really, really wanted to be a part of this. And so now I feel like participants are a true part of school athletics. It took almost another 8 years to bring dance into that. So cheer kind of paved the way for it. And I was fortunate enough with dance to get on board from the beginning, help develop the scoring rubric and the score sheet. And it's ever evolved than how it's started from the beginning and where it is right now.
Shaunda, how about yourself? What's your involvement been with the IHSA and competitive cheer?
So as a student athlete in Illinois, I participated in track and field as well as cheerleading all 4 years of high school. I went to college and cheered there as well. My participation in competitive cheer as a high school athlete was limited to ICCA, as Gina mentioned earlier, as well as some like state fair competitions. I always wanted to have the opportunity to participate in a state series for cheer, much like I was able to for track and field. So in 2005, when the first year that cheerleading was governed by IHSA, it really was a dream come true for me, as well as I'm sure those student athletes who were participating at the time, to be a part of IHSA and have the organization sponsor and help with the putting on the state series for competitive cheerleading.
So when we talk about Title IX this year, coming up in June, we celebrate the 50th anniversary. So talk about where you were at in life, Gina, when Title IX happened.
This is going to definitely give it away for me. So everyone's going to do the numbers and know exactly how old I am. I was in high school when Title IX started. I was a junior. It was just coming into play, and it was so exciting. I always liked gymnastics, and we had nothing but club. I had tried out for cheerleading. Cheerleading wasn't selected, and the process wasn't what it is right now. Never got a chance to be on the cheer team, but tried my senior year to be a part of dance. As luck would have it, I did make the dance team my senior year, but gymnastics came into play as a Title IX sport, and now we have girls in athletics in high school. So I kind of lost out on that, but I did get that opportunity the next year when I went on to college. So can kind of touch on that afterwards.
And Gina, just talk about that for a second. Really pivotal moment when this all happened. So you're a junior in high school. Did you feel like just senior year things just really opened up then?
Oh, absolutely. There were not just male gymnastics teams, there were female gymnastics teams. There were girls basketball, was boys basketball. The girls were getting the same accolades that the boys were getting, and like for our sports, for cheer and dance, those athletes were no longer, um, I don't want to call them an ornament, but they weren't a decoration. They were kind of becoming their own entity. Um, it wasn't competitive when I was in high school. It took so long to get to that point, but the other sports were evolving, and that was really important because they kind of paved the way for what we're doing right now with cheer and dance.
So Shaunda, you were at a little bit of a different place in life when Title IX happened. So a lot of the programs were already existing, but can you talk to me just a little bit about why competitive dance and cheer are so important with really kind of the change from being on the sidelines supporting teams to now these athletes getting to be able to showcase their skills and actually compete against other teams?
Absolutely. I think that being that in that supporting role is important for cheer and dance. But I think that having the opportunities to showcase the skills that those athletes, cheer and dance, have in a competitive environment is really important. And it goes to show that cheer and dance is not just one sided for entertainment. There are definitely skills involved to the things that we do, and having a platform to showcase and to compete against other teams, showing the athletic skill that it does take to um, be a great cheerleader, a great dancer. IHSA gives those athletes a platform to do that. And I think that's really important to know that, yes, being that supportive role at on the sidelines at a basketball or football game is really important, but also we have skills beyond leading crowds or being entertainers during halftime or something um, that we want to showcase and can compete against other teams. And even though it may not be necessarily a head-to-head competition, we still are competing with on a scoring um, rubric or tools that IHSA has for the teams, and there can be a state champion crowned for dance and for cheer, and that is just very exciting. I know for me, just I'm not in high school, I don't participate in that manner, but every time I am a part of a state series, it's very exciting, and I hope that the student athletes who are participating in cheer and dance realize how fortunate they are to have the opportunity to participate on that level.
I
So
mean, the
Gina,
book should be called Beyond the Sidelines
I
because
like that.
that's basically where it's at. Sideline is still very important. It's a great part of what high school sports and collegiate sports are too when it comes to cheer and dance. But beyond the sideline is where this has evolved so much. And I know Shaunda judges outside of this state. I have judged outside of this state. This state is truly cutting edge when it comes to competitive dance and cheer. The abilities blow me away. Every year, I cannot believe how things just continue to escalate and they find a way to go further.
So Gina, talk a little bit about that. I mean, in 2005, when competitive cheer started, you were coaching at that time, and dance, 2013. So we're approaching almost a decade where we've been crowning champions. Just talk about that level of skill and how it has developed over the course since IHSA has had championships.
Nobody's found a way better to get higher than teams in Illinois as far as how they can build a stunt. When you say it's too high, they'll take it extended, and then now they're releasing it. It's gone so far from two hands to one hand to carrying somebody over into another group. They just keep on going to there. It's infinite. It blows my mind what these athletes have been able to do, and their coaches. The coaches, a lot goes to them because I know you have to keep getting better at everything that you do each year, and you have to take it to the next step. Dancers go from single turns to double turns. Now we're triple turns, and now we're not just turning, we're coming out of the turn with a leap, and we're coming out of the turn with another skill. And the connections that they're creating within the skills that they already have it's just phenomenal. So it's hard to explain, it's an ice cream sundae that just keeps getting more scoops and more toppings.
Shaunda, how about you? What have you seen in the progression, especially on the cheer side, since it was started in 2005? What have you seen from the position as an official?
As an official, it is the teams definitely keep us on our feet.
Mr. Knox, line 3, please. Mr. Knox, line 3.
They are very creative in what they're doing. I would say, looking at it from like the National Federation and a rule interpreter point of view, more skills have been allowed for both cheer and dance. And I feel like the student athletes in Illinois are always pushing the envelope when there is something allowed that doesn't create risk to the student athlete. They are always finding a way to do more and be creative and just take their skill level above and beyond what we would think as an official. So we're always, in training of officials as a clinician, we're always saying, okay, we don't know what they're going to do. They're going to do something we've never seen before. And so when that happens, these are kind of the steps that you need to take to put that in a skill level so we can judge them appropriately. And that's always happening. Every year, someone's doing something different. So kudos to the athletes and their coaches for always pushing the envelope.
I would say from my perspective, I was the event manager at Redbird Arena the very first year that we ever had competitive cheerleading. And I was a cheerleader in junior high. I was never competitive, but I can kind of recall just the amount of stunt groups that we now see teams, and the amount of tumbling skills across everyone that's on the floor is so elevated. If you'd see one team that did an extended liberty, I mean, that was going to get you to top 10 probably back in 2005. And now, I mean, that might not even get you to state. So I think just the level of skills and how they progressed. And I would even say the same thing for dance. When we first started in 2013, yeah, we had some teams with high levels of technique and difficulty, but now you see so much more parity. And it's those teams that are really clean. At first, that 2013 year, those teams that were really clean kind of rose to the top. And now you see so many teams that have that. So it's just increased that level and the expectation of teams that are excelling so much in the progression of not even 10 years yet. It's been exciting to see. So when we talk about Title IX and approaching 50 years, and obviously the two of you have really been connected and benefited from some of the opportunities as officials and coaches that have come within the last 50 years, what would you tell current student athletes today? What would you share with them about Title IX, Shaunda?
I would just say that Title IX is very important. And although you weren't born when that piece of legislation came about, neither was I. It has really
Okay, I was.
it has really impacted my life greatly in allowing me to be involved not only at the high school level but after high school, giving me opportunities to travel the world, to judge cheerleading, teach cheerleading camps, um, doing things like that. So I would say cheerleading and dance is a vehicle that can be used in life that will help you do many things as a leader, as a person in front of crowds. Just your confidence and your ability to work with people and be a teammate is going to be accelerated beyond others who don't get to participate in things like this. And so it will be a lifelong it will serve you well lifelong. You will reap the benefits from being a participant for sure. So just enjoy what you have and know that what came before you was very important to give you the opportunities that you will have in the future.
Gina, how about yourself? What would you tell current student athletes about Title IX and the opportunities they have?
Um, Shaunda's pretty much summed it up. It's just, for me, it was a train, that started slow and it just kept going and going, and now it continues to run the track and you don't know where it's taking you. It definitely, I can't believe I'm saying I was a part of this when it first happened. I mean, okay, so you weren't born, but but I can remember it like it was yesterday. Girls are going to get a chance to compete the same way. And, just going to college and going on to making the gymnastics team and getting to eat the training table where all the male athletes ate, that was a big coup. Everybody was getting treated the same. And I just don't know if some of our younger people now realize, what did come before them and how this came to be. Cheer and dance, I mean, as a coach, those former students, those former athletes, they keep coming back and saying, this has been lifelong for me. Not just leadership, creativity, and it took them to a place where they didn't think they could ever go. So they have to try. There's a lot of kids that go, I don't want to try out because it's easier to tell your peers, I didn't try out then. I tried out and I didn't make it. But you'll go through your life not ever knowing if you don't give it the opportunity. So
Right.
get out there, be a part of it.
And as we end today, is there a favorite high school cheer, dance, or just involvement with the IHSA state series memory that you'd want to share? Shaunda, I'm going to start with you. Is there something
Okay.
that comes top of mind?
Well, I would say every single state championship where the national anthem is played, I get emotional, and it just really hones in with me that this is an opportunity that I didn't have an opportunity to participate in when I was in high school. And I hope that the athletes, the spectators, everyone who's there, the officials are really taking in the moment, and they're holding on to that, and they're realizing that they are a part of the history of cheerleading for IHSA, and that is important. And just live in the moment and enjoy right then where you are and the accomplishments that you have made during that particular season. So I would say every single national anthem really stands out to me.
Great. Gina, how about yourself?
I actually was a part of that, not as a competitor, but as a coach on that first IHSA cheer year. And I will never forget that moment that cheerleaders finally got to compete the same way the other sports did. So that was huge. It's monumental. It will stay in my mind forever, as it will those athletes that I coached. They were a part of the first year. A lot of people can't say that. Like I said, I didn't get to be the competitor, but I got to be the coaching aspect of it, and it was huge. So each year when I do take a team comes out there and I see that, it does bring me back to that first year and how it's grown still.
Well, on behalf of the IHSA, I just want to say thank you to both of you. Thank you, Shaunda. Thank you, Gina, for your continued service to both competitive dance and cheerleading as officials, and then also everything that you do for our student athletes to continue to have these opportunities. Truly appreciated. And thanks for celebrating the past and Title IX and the opportunities that we have today. So you're appreciated, and thank you so much.